Hello, everyone. This is the final stage of today, that we will be having our last panel talks. And the topic is about the future travel groups and marketing strategies that we will, today in the last stage, we are going to have four participants. The first one is from Pasha Travel, Aziza Seyidova. Let's see if Aziza is here. Yes, Aziza.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure for me. It's the same. Thank you very much. Our second guest is guest and speaker as well. Is from You Travel Me, Olga. Okay, Olga is having some technical. Is okay. Okay, Olga, You Travel Me. Are we okay, Olga?
Hi, everything fine in San Francisco early morning.
Okay, perfect. Welcome. Nice to meet you, Olga. Our next guest is from Visit Boston, Marta.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Nice
Everything,
to be here.
all of them. Hi, Martha. Nice to meet you. It was a pleasure. And the last participant is, I guess, from Turkey, from Istanbul, should be Ayşe. Miss Ayşe.
Merhaba, hi everybody. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay. Ayşe, are you in Turkey at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Istanbul at the moment.
Okay, so I would say kind of good afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, we have from morning to afternoon. Nice to meet you. First of all, thank you very much for participating to our event. As you already know, the topic is about the future travel groups and marketing strategies, and we will be having almost 1 hour of talk. We will have, and I believe like whoever is listening to us, is watching us, is going to have very useful informations from our talks. So I just want to get in directly to the point and have the talk start. I would start with Aziza from Pasha Travel. It's been a very difficult year and years, let's say 1.5 year or almost 2 years that we are facing this COVID period. Many of us, the providers, travel organizers, we had to cut our programs and scale back. But at the same time, it's also provided tour operators with an opportunity to rethink like our strategies, our investments. Aziza, like, what would you like to tell us about this? Like,
Well, again, talking about opportunities, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm really flattered to be among these beautiful ladies. And actually, you are one lucky guy to have your last session with such a
definitely.
audience. Before we get to the whole COVID situation and the survival strategy that we have developed, I would like to revert back to 2013, 2014. And this was the time when my home country, Azerbaijan, was not very well known to the outside world as a touristic destination. And but that was the time when travel industry in Azerbaijan was enjoying the boost of outgoing tourism. So basically, there was no incoming tourism. The mainly was outgoing, and that at that flourishing time for the tourism industry, oil prices slumped, and as you know, Azerbaijan is the oil country. So once the oil prices is dropped down, so did the our currency's value, the Azeri manats. So at the end of 2015, there was like a huge devaluation, and the exchange rate was about 1.56 manats to the dollars, compared to 0.78 manats to the dollar 10 months earlier. So as you appreciate, the travel industry in Azerbaijan has experienced a huge drop in revenue as being very dependent on the outgoing tourism. So people either didn't want to travel, and or they were not sure about the future, or the quantity of the trips that they would normally take during the year. It has significantly decreased. Sorry, let me just take this. Apologies. But I always say that the flexibility, as you know, talking like a devil's advocate, flexibility is one of my favorite words. It is also often emphasized that the crisis always poses a scenario of opportunity. At that time, when Azerbaijan Mehmet has developed, it became a very attractive destination for incoming tourism. And at that time, Pasha Travel has seriously rethinked its portfolio. And so we started working very hard towards the incoming tourism. We've been lobbying them through the government. So in January 2017, Azerbaijan introduces electronic visa for a single entry, very easy. You apply online, you get your visa within 3 to 5 working days. So Azerbaijan opened its border, very easy visa access. And at that time, the World Travel and Tourism Council reported that Azerbaijan is among the top 10 countries with the greatest increase in visitor exports from 2010 to 2017. And we had the fastest developing travel and tourism economy. We had about 46.1% increase of the tourism. So in 2018, a new tourism brand and a new slogan, "Take another look," they were introduced. So it was a kickstart of growing of tourism industry. The tourism strategy plan for another 5 years was an action plan was presented. But then we say in Azerbaijan, if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. So hello to pandemic, lockdowns, and not very pleasant stuff. And here I have to repeat myself that flexibility is the key of the survival of tourism. I think tourism industry is one of the most flexible industries in the world. So here we're looking for different ways to survive, and how do we generate our revenue? And the answer was domestic tourism. This is a revenue stream that has never been a part of our portfolio. Staycations, regional tours for local people were a very high demand and helped us. So another initiative that we had, it was the creation of the Travelers Club, a place where travel lovers can meet, inspire each other, attend domestic tours, master classes. So while we were very limited on the physical travel experience, so there were a lot of ways that we would be, reminding our clients, whether it's through Instagram, live chats, the online tours, or anything else. So we were always in touch, and we were always doing something to, keep up that interest in the travel.
Okay, Aziza, thank you very much. Well, trends have changed. Like during the pandemic, local experiences are top of mind to our travelers, renewed interest in culinary experiences. Marta, do you think that the post-COVID will still be top of the mind of our business, of the travelers?
Good morning. Yes, yes, I actually do. I think that trend was already starting to take hold pre-pandemic, and I think the pandemic, heightened the interest in those types of experiences. And I can say firsthand here in Boston, we are seeing attractions develop, those more intimate and unique experiences for the visitor. We are opening up a lot of new food halls in the city of Boston that are gaining interest, where people can go and try a variety of cuisines from different restaurants all under one roof with entertainment and bars. And I think this will be popular for groups as well as individual travelers. We're also seeing here, again, for groups and individual travelers, a keen interest in exploring more lesser known parts of the area. So while we know Boston is a historic city and many people are very familiar with our assets around the history of America and how Boston played a role in that, we also know that people want to dive deeper into how real Bostonians live. So we've done a lot of work around promoting neighborhoods via some video series that we are producing right now, for the one for each of the 23 neighborhoods in Boston. We have 3 done. But we had a large travel buyer here over the summer, Colette Tours, which is a large international tour buyer. And they were very keen on some of these more intimate experiences, walking tours, et cetera. So we're going to continue to promote that. So I definitely think the pandemic has heightened people's interest in these types of experiences. And I think that both the individual and group traveler will continue to, want to have experiences like that. And I would agree with Aziza in that, right now in Boston, we are very focused on, getting the close by visitor to come to our city and spend the night where they may not have before because they had so many other options. They could travel overseas so easily from Boston. We have great direct service to many countries around the world, which made it easy. But because that wasn't available to them, as you know, the U.S. just opened borders on November 7th, and now we're seeing obviously a little bit of a slowdown in that due to the Omicron variant. But we're definitely seeing the local people or folks from a drive distance very interested in these experiences, and even Bostonians themselves are. As Aziza said, being tourists in their own city and really exploring places that they hadn't been before, just because, again, they just had so many options to travel outside of Boston and Massachusetts. So, I'm quite frankly, I'm a avid traveler myself. I just came back from London, and my family and I, 5 of us, we spent most of our week just walking around, exploring, eating great cuisines from around the world there, and looking into the little nooks and crannies of London. And I definitely think that's a popular trend that's not going to go away anytime soon. I don't think it's going to replace, people wanting to see large attractions and very popular tourist sites. I think that's always going to be popular, but I do think people will supplement their traditional travel plans with some newer and more unique experiences.
Yeah, we did all miss this discovering things like from the beginning, like before the pandemic period, and we all start from our around, like from our neighbor, and then our city and the country, and then the next ones. Like today, like the experiential expectations of selective and sophisticated guests have gone beyond. Like guests are expecting more like unforgettable moments, not just seeing or visiting and museums and stuff, but they also want experiences. Like Olga, what is, like, as you travel me, like what is the plan, or what are you planning to have these back again to these people? How do you want to reach to these audience with an experience expectations?
Yeah, first of all, as we mentioned, this really travel industry fall last year and really fell down, and we using this period, we use this time to figure it out, how works it inside of our company, and how communication with the clients work even during pandemic. And what we found out that as we are, as a marketplace of small group adventure, work with really active lifestyle people who can organize their own adventure by themselves, but they don't want to try to spend all the time for preparation and all this stuff. And when you visited more than 30 countries, preparations ceases to be exciting and become a chore. And how do we reach these people? A tool won't work if you speak with the wrong person with the wrong language. So we this is first step that we find out, and that's why we had first focus on feedback loops. It's we set up system of continuously feedback loops when we talking with people every day, every week, every month, and we get a lot of information from them. So second, it's fast response when we answer every question just in a few minutes, and this helps us to keep the customer and keep them coming back. And third is growth system. We found out that we start using HADI cycle. It's agile tool that enables us to test hypotheses very quickly and tracking its all the metrics and how they influence on the whole system. So this HADI is like program steps like hypothesis, action, data, and insights. We have lots of ideas how to what should works for different segments of our auditory, and we use it to like check our hypothesis to understand what works and what doesn't. And these exact steps, it should be on the zero step for each company, because just this understanding how people think and how people want to what people want to know more about like adventure, and what they're afraid of, and what they want now in continuance in this year, and what they plan to do in the next year. We know it right now. I mean, we for all our segments we know it right now, and we use it in all our like marketing channel. And we have grown 5 times last year and doubled our revenue during the pandemic time. So I think that it tells me that our system works. And about channels, the main channels of attraction, we use social media and search engine optimization. We have very strong marketing team. They have segmented all our users into several groups. So for each different groups, we have marketing mix. So it's totally different from each other. So now we have about 300,000 users per month. So like for us, it works this way. And I think if every company focus on step 0 about analytics and about talking with users, it helps for like every company to understand what want their users exactly.
Okay, sounds interesting. Another thing, like what this pandemic brought us is like this kind of social distance, and so this makes a bit more kind of private tours, I would say. And then the next step of this is again like experiences. Like today, I wouldn't say bored, but like it's a bit kind of a traditional tour packages, like going to Europe and having having a crowd of people walking all together to the same ones. But instead, it's more interesting. Like people wants to create memories, like that they can tell, and these memories are based on the experiences. I would say emotional tourism is also part of this. Ayşe, like, what are the words for those who prefer these tours depicted to the experience, like gourmet or adventure and these kind of things? Like, what can be done?
Actually, as a Jules Verne travel, we have a strong relations and communication with our clients. So we know really what they want and what kind of experience they want to have. And it was actually very clear before pandemic. During the pandemic, what we did actually, we concentrate on just the communication over the social media. So we invest on that, and we didn't have any break on that. So what we see, actually, it was not just for the sales, but actually base is to give inspiration for future travel, not to break the communication. And at the end, what we have in our hands, based on the experience, you said, Mehmet, that the experience is very important. It was important, but now everybody with pandemic, they know the value of the time, the value of the sharing more. So based on the experience, expectation actually is not very, very high. So when you understand the exact concern of the customer, they like sometimes they are happy only to be together in the nature, just to walk around and tasting, like Marta said, just together, to be together. So the experience before pandemic, experience have great expectations behind, but now it's mostly the simple. I mean, to be together with the family or friends, and to enjoy the wherever they are, and a couple of nice restaurants, and to be in the nature and the outside, and as much as to avoid the COVID conditions, let's say, and COVID options. So what we are doing at the moment, based on the experience, just we are trying to understand after pandemic what they like, and is there any change or not. As it's very clear for everybody, in Turkey, the domestic travel is very strong. So the many people is traveling within the country. Basically, before pandemic, our first concentration was global. So all around the world, the groups and the tailor-made travel, families. But now what we have in our hands, experiences in the country. It's not compulsory to be around the main cities, but the small towns and local people and the local experience. It's very strong. Local experiences. It shouldn't be very large options. I mean, it just to try the cheese factory, but the small one, the family owned, and a nice restaurant just to have the local food served by the small family owned places, let's say. So the local experience is very strong everywhere at the moment, as far as we see with our experience. But it's same for the outbound travel as well. From Turkey, for Turkish travelers, to travel around the globe was very, very popular. It's still very popular. During our communication with COVID, so we send all the destination informations and all the new openings, the hotels, the restaurants, what they can do around the world. So we had a great positive impact from our clients. That is very good. And at the end of this pandemic, they will travel again. And they started travel. Actually, it's booming after September especially, but during last 10 days, because of this Omicron variant, it's a little bit silent. But before that, everybody is fond of to go somewhere. With the opening of the borders and with some softer travel restrictions, let's say, the people is traveling. But what is changed? There's no over long haul destinations. So we will not see maybe a couple of years to travel to South America or Australia or the China and Asia. But within Europe, it's very popular again to travel. And it's like the experience in Turkey, local experience to go small towns, to go maybe to Paris, rent a car, and 3 4 days driving route, and come back. So the main difference before pandemic, after pandemic, is the experience is based on the more local taste, local touch. I think
Can you hear
Mehmet,
me?
yes.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Just I couldn't hear the last part because of the cut.
Ah,
Before pandemic and after pandemic, then I didn't hear.
actually, difference is before pandemic, the experience was about many different things. But after
Uh-huh.
pandemic, experience is basically made of local taste, local touch.
I totally agree. Because I can also see from the travelers on the social media what they are sharing and stuff. We do all have, or we kind of use social medias and Instagram as well. Like my question is to Aziza, how can we create like Instagrammable experiences that drive the brand loyalty as well? And like we kind of need to make the guest to make the loyalty and come back again and again, like from iconic landmarks, or can be authentic local taste experiences, using these strategic movements. How can we achieve this?
It's actually very funny how the phrase Instagrammable has developed during the pandemic. It's like terms like Instagrammable posts and Instagrammable experience. And this has mainly been associated with the travel and the lifestyle experience industry. I always joke that there are two phrases that has been developed severely during the pandemic. One is Instagrammable experiences, and the other one is, I'm sorry, I was on mute. So that's it's because there's been so many online experiences. But given the intense competition in the hospitality industry, being Instagrammable is a must now, because Instagram boasts it has over about 400 million daily active users, of which 50% make at least 50,000 annually. And the product owners like travel agency, airlines, hotels, and experience creators, they want to interact with this engaged community of affluent users. And we should step back and view our space through the lens of Instagram now, or the visual storytelling, and assess our level of innovation and inspiration from the totally from the consumer perspective. In short, everyone should be asking themselves, are we Instagrammable? And how does our product, whether it's a destination or the hotel or anything else, translate into the world of compelling images and interesting captions? Do we have the capacity to connect with our consumers through sharing emotionally rich images, or providing opportunities for them to tell their stories about our brands? And because Instagram and inspiration, they go hand in hand. And when someone uploads a picture or regrams your post or comments on the photos, chances that they're really inspired. They're inspired and they're excited about something beautiful or uplifting, and they're really compelled to draw people who surrounds with their followers or someone else into their world of this, I don't know, call it digital show, and tell and talk to others about what they're seeing. Because Instagram is mainly about pictures, and pictures they invoke feelings. Pictures generate conversations. Pictures build bonds, and pictures can be really emotional. So Instagram is fertile ground to engage in meaningful interactions with customers through sharing of emotional content, because emotions is a key word in here. The hotels, I think they've been the best at mastering the Instagrammable moment concept, and and it can be anywhere. It can be, the Instagrammable moments can be very different for different audiences, and our consumers, our targeted audiences, they want to discover their own Instagrammable moment, and sometimes you see these people as if they're on the treasure hunt. This is how the Instagram build their social status. And actually, recently, UN World Tourism Organization and Instagram have jointly created a tourism recovery playbook, offering destinations and businesses tips about marketing via the online social media platform. UNWTO's first partnership with Instagram was the part of the organization's shift towards digital platforms to help the restart of tourism. So it features case studies where small businesses use Instagram to connect to their key audiences, and I really recommend you to go through it. It's very interesting read. So at the end, answering to your question, I would like to say that orchestrating an Instagrammable moment of your product and your destination begins with the details that, you set up the mood for travel. This could be anything: lighting, decor, music, anything that could carry your product into your guests' Instagram account. So I want to orchestrate a small Instagram moment for ourselves, if I may.
Definitely.
Say cheese.
Shall we pause?
Yes, please. Hi. Thank you. Thank you all.
Perfect. Please tag us so we can re-Instagram as well.
Certainly will do.
Thank you very much. Martha, I would also like to hear if you want to contribute on the Instagram part, but I am also interested, like the how would it look like post pandemic, the Boston and the US travel industry, like how would travel might look?
You're on mute. That's exactly what I was saying.
Okay, now.
Oh boy, we should know better by now. But I will agree with Aziza on Instagram. Obviously it's a huge part of the tourism marketing ecosystem, and we are all striving to at the same time create moments that look good via Instagram, but also trying to be authentic with it as well, right? So that the consumer can actually picture themselves there, as opposed to something that might be too staged. It's sort of, I think it's a fine line, But, you know, as a destination, you know, we all want to be, you know, just part of that, that group that gets high share rates and high engagement. And so, you know, we do a little bit of both. We do organic posts, but also some that might be a little bit more staged. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Beautiful Destinations feed, which to me is just one of the most stunning Instagram feeds out there. And every destination is trying to create a moment where they would be picked up by that particular feed, just because they have such extraordinary engagement. And that's a really hard one to do, because, you know, those moments that they capture are really spectacular. But I think one other thing, and then I'll talk a little bit about U.S. Tourism and Boston in particular. One thing that I would note, kind of going back to these organic experiences and how the pandemic has impacted them, is the fact that so many of our attractions and providers, tourism assets, developed some really great online content during the pandemic. And it's really, they've been very creative, and it's very accessible now. So you don't have to be in a destination now to experience some of those assets. And that online content has served as sort of a teaser for travelers that might want to get deeper into a destination. And I hope that continues, because I think, you know, some of those online experiences that our partners have created have been really, really impactful. As far as Boston goes, you know, Boston was hit very hard by the pandemic. We were one of the first cities to shut down in the U.S. And we are following the same trends as our major destinations across the U.S. New York, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Chicago. All of those large metropolitan areas have experienced the same hit from COVID. Our hotel occupancies aren't even close to recovering. While foot traffic has been better, as I said, because of local visitors, the fact that we don't have any corporate travel happening in the U.S. very much right now, and that meetings have really just started to recover, you know, has had a profound impact on everything that we do. Last night we had our annual meeting, and I had the privilege of interviewing Roger Dow, and I'm not sure if you know him, but he is the president and CEO of the U.S. Travel Association. And we had a really frank conversation about what's happening right now and what the prospects are. And he works with a company called Tourism Economics. I'm sure you're familiar with them. And they're projecting U.S. recovery not till 23, 24. But Roger's a little bit more bullish and hoping that the U.S. sees greater recovery in 22 to 23. You know, I think right now it's this the uncertainty that's going to really continue to hurt us. So first, the Delta variant. We all thought, you know, when I was you know, talking to the media in the summer, they would ask me, what are your projections for recovery for Boston? And I would say, I think this fall is going to be, you know, very, very strong for us. And then Delta hit. And in fact, we took a plunge, right? We didn't do as well as we thought. We did better, but we didn't recover at the rate we thought. So now we had readjusted our expectations, and we're saying, okay, so January, February, you know, we're going to see that robust recovery really start to take off. And now, of course, we have our friend Omicron with us, who's, I think, going to give us a little bit of a challenge there. But I think what we like to say here is that we have all the tools, just like you all, you know, across the world. We have all the tools already in place to ensure safe and healthy travel. You know, Roger made the case that actually being on an airplane is a lot safer than being in a grocery store right now because of the way the air circulates. And we're not seeing spreads on airplanes. I've traveled a lot on an airplane, and I'm not getting calls from an airline saying a passenger on your flight was tested positive. So I think there's great protocols in place even to fight these variants. So I'm hopeful that while we have these sort of moments of stalling because of them, they're not going to last as long, and we'll begin to progress further. In Boston in particular, we're really looking forward to a great 2022. We have so much happening in our city, and our development has not stopped at all. You know, we've opened up a lot of large hotels during the pandemic. Construction didn't stop. We're about to open a Raffles hotel in Boston. It'll be the first North American Raffles, which we're very excited about. Our luxury product continues to grow. So we know that there's definitely a demand for that, because I think you all can appreciate the fact that those that fund hotels do their due diligence before they invest their dollars, and they're obviously seeing the fact that Boston is a strong market and will come roaring back when the time is right. So it's all, it's all very similar to what you're all experiencing, I'm sure. And I think the key for us is to keep the international borders open, of course, with the protocols in place that are necessary. And I'm in locally here, and I don't know how you all feel, but I'm becoming a very strong advocate for free walk-in testing sites everywhere we can have them. So I just came from London, as I said. We had to get 2 tests while we were there. You have to make appointments. You have to prove that you've had an appointment, download apps, etc. And I just think to the extent that we can make testing readily available and super easy across the world, I think that is going to give people a lot more motivation to travel. Because quite frankly, even here in Boston, for me to get a rapid test right now is very difficult. I either have to pay $100 out of pocket or, go quite a distance to find availability of appointments. So my pitch right now to everyone on this in this conference is let's advocate for more walk-in testing sites that are simple. We had them at the early onset of the pandemic. Then those all got transitioned over to vaccination sites. But I think we need both. I think we need both rapid testing and vaccine sites readily available. And I think that's going to be the best boost for travel that we could ask for.
I totally agree on this. I'm totally with you. While Ayşe was talking, she mentioned something very interesting, and that I like it. Like, we need to know the expectations of the travelers, of our guests. Olga, like, at the same time, travel habits are constantly being shaped by different trends in the world. As you travel like, how are you trying to satisfy the consumer expectations that are changing very frequently, very constantly?
Yeah. We are, as a marketplace, we work with lots of suppliers, and we focus on work with small suppliers, travel experts, travel agencies, very small, and they offer not just like check travel or something like something boring. They never do this, but as everybody are they offer, every time they offer unique tour, unique adventure. And what I see that last 10 years travel industry is really changing, and after pandemic was like a point of changing everything. Lots of technology come to travel industry, and people start to use lots of technology and a lot of application to organize their own technology or their own adventure. And right now we see that they want to they have expectation about, I want to have Instagrammable experience right now, just quickly and with good people around me, and everything in one moment, and I want to have it now. And like that. What we see that a lot of companies, very big companies, like travel industry coming back, Martha said, it's really true. And we see Peak raised round, G Adventure raised round, even we raised round, and it's works like industry believe in this in this trend that tours becoming adventures, and this kind of new renaissance of traveling. And I totally believe that people, they want to have these adventures, as I said. And small suppliers we work with, they can offer everything that people want, and how it works in our platform. We found that as YouTube works with bloggers and help them monetize their offers, YouTube changed the television era and become from the 10 channels to million of channels. And every person who come into YouTube, they can find everything they want. They can find easy and very quickly everything they match with the over the mood of the day. So we start to work with all these travel suppliers the same way as YouTube, and we start not just not stop them to offer something unique, but they provide them to test all their hypotheses, all their all the hypotheses, all the destination, and all the types of tours and adventures in different countries, different style, everything. And they all these travel agencies starts to offer more than, I don't remember, but it's about 20,000 different kinds of travel styles, travel adventures on our platform. And what we see that people start choose something different. They try to choose, for example, here in the United States, we see a lot of people want to travel to national parks, and it was very popular, but now they want to not just travel to national park, but they want to have very small group, and they want have not just traveling, but like very big event, like very big show, or like adventure with people around you, with all the program, and they want to have it with like-minded people. And this first step that we found, and these results we came because all our travel experts offer different styles of traveling, and every time we can check like what people want to see, what metrics of which kind of tours it works better. And at the end of the day, we share all this information with our partners, and they start to scale this direction or scale this type of style of travel. And this way we try to satisfy consumer expectations like that.
Okay, so having tight relations with the suppliers, which
Yeah.
is okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Thank you. Ayşe, so in order to receive in order to understand the expectations of the travelers, we need to somehow make them to travel again, and then we can see the expectations. How do you plan, as Jules Verne travel? How do you plan travelers to travel again? How can we make them travel again, like the mood, the will?
Actually, as I told you before, we had a strong relations over the social media. So what we see actually, as soon as we have some flexible conditions to travel around the world or within the Turkey, so just they come back. And because they know that we are feeding them with the information, and we can provide them every kinds of the programs, and we try to understand them. So when they come back, actually they are coming back, and just we are trying to give them a way according to the conditions, COVID conditions first. So it makes this information gives feeling safety. Just we tell at the beginning that our first concern is to give options in every sense. I mean, the flight and the accommodation and experience based on the COVID conditions. So they understand that Jules Verne is taking care of their safety first. And then, of course, asking what they want. But actually, basically, when we have this feeling, this trust issue at the beginning, and the rest is coming. So what I can tell, just we have communication over the social media, and give them a trust that we are taking care of the COVID conditions and their safety first. And after that, all the other details, I can call easily the details, what they want. And of course, with a couple of conversations, we understand easily. But why they are trying, why they choose Jules Verne or some certain places, let's say the Pasha travel or the You Travel Me and the rest of the main issue, all the clients and all the people would like to have this feeling that this company is taking care of my safety first. And then the rest of the organization is simple, actually.
So by kind of giving the trust of you, like based on their past experiences with you.
We have a repeat clients. Of course, we are day by day. It's increasing. Of course, it's obvious. But to keep them around always comes by the communication. Even during the pandemic, before pandemic, post pandemic, there's no change on that.
Okay, perfect. We almost reach our the end of our panel. I don't know if anyone wants to contribute to final things. If you
actually, I have a couple of things, but I'm sure everybody is agree. But there's a difference during the pandemic, especially to understand the client profile is important. So when it comes to understand their needs, before pandemic, sometimes they are ready to pay higher amount for the let's say flight or all the total journey, let's say. But the post-pandemic, sometimes depending of the country to country, of course, but I can tell for the Turkish people easily, they are asking, they are thinking more actually about the budget. So you have to understand before pandemic and post-pandemic budget change. It's very important because before pandemic, sometimes let's say for 3 days they pay $3,000, but during these days, especially for Turkish clients profile, I'm saying the same client, they can tell that. Sometimes they don't tell. You have to understand that they are not ready to pay $3,000 for 4 days anymore, but maybe 2,000 or whatever. So when you go with your past experience based on this budgets, when you go with this, let's say, league of the program itinerary accommodation, and sometimes it doesn't work. So also, you have to understand the budget concern, budget change of the clients, especially in Turkey. I don't know, it's the same in US or Azerbaijan, but in Turkey, the same client, and then they come back and they are ready to travel, and we have past experience about the level of the product they like by means of the hotel and then all the restaurant accommodation and everything. But it's better to check once more what happened after pandemic. I call it after pandemic, but it's not, of course.
It will be never after pandemic anymore.
No, I want to see those days soon. That's why I'm saying.
I agree totally. We look forward to those days. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, for your knowledge that you share with us, and it was my pleasure to be with such kind and beautiful ladies to be part of this day that we are ending. I wish you, Marta and Olga, I wish you a nice day because you just started and now we are closing almost the day. Aziza and Ayşe, thank you very much for everything, for your time and your speeches.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.